Whoa, 8:02 a.m. on a Saturday, a post hole digger is clacking like a metronome. A chainsaw coughs to life, and a chalk line runs across the grass like a dare. If you've ever woken up to the sound of your property line becoming a group project, this one's yours. You're starting early, it's after 8. But neighbors sleep on Saturdays. The HOA quiet hours move to 8 on weekends. You're fine on the clock. It's the chainsaw throat clearing that makes people brace. I'm not here to stop your fence. I'm here because your string line is sitting 6 inches onto my side of the markers. You're pointing at the old, leaning posts like they're the gospel. They drifted. Wood rots. Lines creep. The original survey pin is under that cap by the sprinkler head. I had it marked when we replaced the irrigation. The HOA rules match the city. Fence on the property line or on your side. Not into the neighbors. I promise I'm not trying to steal 6 inches of yard. I'm trying not to donate 6 inches of yard to your dog. Yes, your dog is sweet. He's also an optimist with paws. No, I didn't move the pin. It's a metal rod. I don't have the upper body strength or the desire to make my Saturdays about metallurgy. Please, don't rev the saw again until we settle the line. I called non-emergency because the saw started before we spoke and because your cousin parked the contractor van at the corner where the curb flares red. Fire lane stays clear, even for fence days. I'm not the HOA president. I'm on architectural review. I like straight lines and quiet coffee. You're rolling your eyes like I'm auditioning for a clipboard commercial. I'm standing in flip-flops holding a donut. This is not my power stance. Headlights. That's the cruiser. Please take a breath. No one is getting arrested for string. Good morning, officer. Thanks for coming out. We've got a Saturday start that's legal at 8. A contractor van kissing the red curb, a chainsaw under debate, and a fence string that looks inside my side of the pins. Noise is fine now. Fire lane isn't. The line is the neighbor-to-neighbor and HOA piece. Could you confirm the fire lane rule and ask the van to move? Thank you. He'll move it. Appreciate it. While that's happening, let's look at the pins. Lift that cap. See the rusted top? That's the rod. Mine's here. Yours should be mirrored at the back corner. I had a survey 5 years ago when we redid sprinklers. I can pull the PDF from email, but the pin is the anchor. Your cousin says the old posts are the real edge. Old posts lean. That end one leans like a tired lamppost. We can set the new line straight on the pins so neither of us loses or gains. And the tree, yes. I see the branches. They lean over my side and drop acorns like confetti. You can trim to the vertical plane of the property line without killing the tree. We don't top trees in this HOA. We prune like people who want shade next summer. You're worried your dog will bolt if the old fence comes down before the new one is up. We can do a panel at a time swap. I'll hold the temporary section if you've got a spare panel and clamps. I'm not trying to make this a sermon. I'm trying to make it a plan. The cruiser is parked. The officer's walking up calm. Thank you for the tone already. Officer, could you say out loud that the fire lane stays open and we should keep tools off the walk? Thank you, he's confirming. Keep the hydrant and flared curb free. Don't stage on the sidewalk. Power tools after 8 on weekends. Document agreements by text. You're not a villain. You are a man with a chalk line and a list. I am a person with a donut and a survey pin. The line doesn't care about either of our personalities. Let's pop the back cap here. Under the mulch, feel that? That's the second pin. Connect these two, and you get the vertical plane that decides where boards go. Your string is south of that plane by a hand's width. I'll slide the stake. You pull it tight on the pins. Then we both stop imagining theft. I'm holding the stake. Pull. Tighter. Okay, clip there. Now the line reads true. The officer just nodded. He's seen 1,000 Saturday strings. The ones that count go through metal, not memory. About the height. You've set for 6 feet, right? 6 feet on street-facing sides without variance. Rear sections can step to 7 if not visible from the street. Ours is visible on the side-facing walkway. 6 it is. You put a decorative cap rail. It'll push to 6'8" if you keep it. Beautiful, non-compliant. We can keep a cap on the rear run and skip it. Here, you're frowning like I stole your crown molding. I'm saying move the crown to the back wall, where it's allowed and nobody feels robbed. The officer doesn't care about caps. He cares about trucks and chainsaws. He's letting us adults adult, you. Want to keep working while we talk? Fine. But keep the saw quiet until we move that van. I'll bring your cousin a hanger tag for the guest lot so he stops orbiting the hydrant. He's back. Van moved. That's good. Thank you for moving it, truly. That was the scary part for anyone who likes oxygen and hoses. Now the branches. They cross the line 8 feet up and drop on my side. They also shade your yard in the afternoon. I like shade. I don't like acorns on a driveway where a scooter lives, trimmed to the vertical. Leave the structure. Don't carve a flat top. The HOA literally writes no topping in bold because someone did it once, and we all lived in a stick farm for a year. If you want me to share cost, I will for the portion that drops on my drive. I'm not cheap. I'm cooperative. You're saying the tree guy won't come today. That's fine. We can hang a tarp to catch chips and sweep like we live here. We do live here. The dog is pacing behind the old panel like a reviewer. He's wagging, but he'll test your gaps. Let's clamp a temporary board as we go. I have spring clamps. You were going to pour concrete for posts today? Please don't if rain is forecast. You'll chase mud into a hole like it's a hobby. Mix in small batches. Use gravel at the base for drainage. Don't bell out the hole unless you like frost heave in cartoons. That's not HOA. That's physics. Also treat cut ends. The capillary action wicks water. Stain the cuts. Future. You will thank present you. You're staring like you didn't plan on stain until after the game. Stain now on the cuts. Brush nearby. Done in 10 minutes. Save years. The officer is listening to us talk about stain, like he's on a home improvement podcast he didn't subscribe to. He's still calm. This is why grown-ups make neighborhoods work. Okay, we're aligned on the string. Let's talk footing. Your old line drifted into my sprinkler bubble. Keep the new line off the heads and I won't cry into my water bill. I'll flag the heads in orange so your cousin doesn't bury them under poetry. Yes, we can temporarily cap the line if you do hit one. I have caps. The aisle of forgotten hardware is my garage. You think I do this for power. I do this because I've dug up a sprinkler under a new post and cried, "You think I'm dramatic." When water hits your shoes at 3 p.m., call me. Officer, can you write in your note? Van moved, fire lane clear. Neighbors adjusted fence line to pins. Agreed on 6 feet street side. 7 allowed rear only. Power tools okay after 8. Text numbers exchanged? Thank you. I appreciate documentation more than caffeine, and I love caffeine. Numbers. Here. Text me string set, so I have it. Received. I'm pinning the thread so in 6 months when a squirrel lawyers us, we can show this morning. You're asking if the HOA will help with cost because the old fence went wobbly during that windstorm. There's a small compliance materials fund. It covers stain and hardware when a rule forces a redo. It doesn't buy cedar forests. Submit receipts. Likely you'll see a credit. Also, if the wind took it and you file with insurance, we'll write a plain language letter stating the damage and the compliant height. That helps carriers understand we aren't asking for a privacy wall facing a sidewalk. All right, chainsaw talk. If you're cutting the old posts at grade, please don't leave stumps. They rot, and the dog will find them like a truffle pig with splinters. Pull them or cut below grade. Fill with tamped soil. Save the shiny 3 inches above ground for Instagram, not for ankles. You're rolling your shoulders like you hate this advice because it's correct. Hate it in silence. Do it anyway. Your future mower blade will not write you a hate letter. We're almost done with the setup. When you set the first new post, keep it on the line, but on your side of the pins. We share a plane, not wood. That way, if you ever want to replace, you don't need me to sign an easement just to excavate on my lawn. And please don't nail into my side. Face your good side inward. It's your yard, I'll see the rails. I won't file a complaint about aesthetics. I care about caps and pins. Rails are furniture. If you switch to board-on-board, the 6-foot height is measured to the top of the scallop, not the valley. No games. The officer just smiled at no games, like he's remembering a wind chime dispute from 2019. Okay. Post-setting dry mix or pre-mix? Pre-mix. Good. Water in the hole, then bag into water? Tamp. Don't chase watery soup. It sets weird and hates you. Plumb with a level, clamp a brace, nail it to a stake, and stop trying to will it straight with your mind. He nods. I see grudging respect forming. It smells like cedar and truce. Your cousin asks whether he can keep the circular saw out front while he rips top caps. No top caps on the sidewalk. Workbench in the driveway. Sidewalk is public right-of-way. Officer? Officer nods. Sidewalk stays clear. We're boring. We're alive. Now, tree chips. If you cut 2 small limbs now so the fence can run, aim your undercut first, then top cut, then let the hinge guide. Don't barber chair the limb. It scares yards, children, and screws. Tie a lanyard halfway out and a friend controls swing with light tension, not CrossFit. The friend can be me if I trust your grip. I do, mostly. You ask if you can step the fence to follow grade. Yes. Step with consistent rise. Don't create a waving horizon line. The HOA is allergic to roller coaster fences. Leave a 2-inch gap at the bottom to avoid soil wick. More if mulch meets the boards. Then the dog can't dig under in one sitcom episode, he will try. He is noble and sneaky, he will fail. He will live. We need to write the actual agreement so memory doesn't get theatrical this afternoon when your uncle arrives with opinions. Text message. Both of us reply, agree. I'll type. Pins located and verified. Fence line set to pins. Posts on owner's side. 6-foot height along side yard facing walkway. Decorative cap moved to rear run only. Power tools after 8 a.m. weekend. Sidewalk and fire lane kept clear. Contractor van in guest lot or north curb. Branches to be trimmed to vertical plane, no topping. Chips contained and cleanup same day. Temporary dog barrier maintained during swap. Cut ends sealed. Posts set plumb with proper drainage. Any sprinkler hit will be capped immediately. Neighbor flags heads. Both parties exchange numbers. Text before calls. Sending. Your agree just came through. Thank you. Officer. Could you document neighbor agreement received by text? Perfect. All right. Let's set the first post. Dig to 30 inches if you can. Frost depth here is not a rumor. Bell the bottom slightly for resistance. Keep the top narrower so water sheds. Gravel in, tamp, level, pour, tamp. Brace. The sound of tamping is my Saturday soundtrack if I were a calmer person. You're asking about stain color. HOA allows natural wood tones. No painted fences. Semi-transparent neutral is fine. No beach teal. Save teal for wristbands at the pool. You're smiling. We've landed humor. We're safe. Chainsaw now? Now, please start it in the driveway, not by the fence with the dog behind it. Small details, big safety. Cut the old panel out in sections so the temporary goes up fast. Clamp, screw. Approve. Do not take a lunch break at the exact moment the dog meets the wilderness. Screw the temp tight first. I'll hold this side. There we go. He sniffs, he sighs, he resigns. We're back to civil engineering. Your cousin asks whether the tree limbs can be cut now without a permit. Under 4 inches diameter at cut. Okay. Bigger cuts later with a pro. We keep the tree alive. We keep the fence straight. We keep the HOA out of our texts for the wrong reasons. His face says, noted. Officer is pacing the corner, looking at the now open fire lane like it's a painting. We did that. That was us. So, about the setback at the back corner where your patio flares, your paver edge tries to annex the line by 2 inches. Don't cut the pavers today, but don't butt into them with fence posts either. Give yourself a finger's width so the boards breathe and water drains. I don't want to see weeds making a party strip between post and paver. I will kill that strip with vinegar like a chemist who lives in a magazine with children. You're cool with a finger's width. Good. Next, neighbor gate. You wanted it to swing out. Gates swing into the owner's yard per HOA, no outswing into walkways. Ambulance gurneys and strollers share this planet. Swing in. Use self-closing hinges and set latch at 54 inches to meet common code and dog ambition levels. I'll admire it from my side when it doesn't whack me. He laughs. Officer almost laughs. Saturday miracle. Do you want help carrying panels? Yes. I'll grab an end. 1, 2, up, set it, hold, screw, top, bottom check plumb, middle. You're a good builder. When you stop arguing with physics, physics is undefeated. Your uncle walks up with coffee and a story about the fence he built in 1998 that set a record for something no one measured. We nod. We set the next post. He sees the officer and decides this isn't his show. Bless every uniform's aura of early morning sanity. We've got 3 posts in, 2 panels up, temporary clipped where dog snout insists on audits. Time check. 9:27. We lost 90 minutes to arguing with air and gained 4 decades of peace. That's a trade. I'll take with my donut. Speaking of donuts, you want half? This box is a terrible idea in my house. Here. Fuel. You're nicer on sugar. The neighborhood feels that. Your cousin asks about the tree exactly on the rear line. Whose is it? Trunks decide ownership. This trunk is fully on your lot. Branches crossing our shared responsibility for trimming to the vertical. We can co-hire and split costs since we both benefit from shade. Or we each trim on our side within reason. We can do the latter handshake later. Today is fence day. He nods. Officer checks in. All good? All good. He gives us a card with the incident number. If someone calls later, we can reference fire lane cleared. Neighbor agreement formalized. I text the incident number into our thread for the paper trail. Okay, let's talk finish line so this doesn't sprawl into Sunday. By noon, post set for the side run, temporary barrier intact, 2 permanent panels locked, tree chips swept, sidewalk clear. By end of day, full side run up, cap on rear only, latch installed, no top caps on side run, stain cut ends, bag debris. Tomorrow afternoon, prune small branches to the vertical, sweep again. Send the done photo with a thumbs up emoji. I will not judge. Next week, if you still want to argue with me about stain sheen, bring muffins. This HOA considers muffins legal tender. You're grinning like a person who will show up with muffins to win an argument you didn't have to show up for. We're moving into the flow state now. Dig. Gravel, post, tamp, level, pour, brace. Repeat. Neighbors walk by, glance, see the officer, see the calm. Keep walking. No one pulls a phone to film. We built that too. As the sun climbs, I move the umbrella so you don't turn into a PSA. We hydrate like adults who have learned things. Dog lies down with the sigh of a creature who believes. In fences and naps, we get the rhythm right enough that the sound of a compressor 2 streets over blends into the soundtrack of a town that can handle a weekend without a fight. At 11:40, your cousin suggests lunch. Good. Before lunch, we clamp the last temporary. We leave the workbench in the driveway, not on the sidewalk. We coil cords. We cap the bucket so the wind doesn't make a paper mache instrument out of your receipts. We text, pausing for lunch. Temp secure. You reply, got it. The officer waves once and heads to the next calm crisis. We take 20 minutes, eat, compare forearm aches, like we ran a 5K called improving a boundary. When we restart, we finish the side run. At 1:05, the panel seams line up clean. The rails are level and my inner spreadsheet purrs. Thank you out loud for moving the decorative cap to the back. You shrugged like it was your idea and I let you have that lie because it costs me nothing and buys us a street that doesn't collect. Grudges. At 1:22, you bump a sprinkler. It hisses like a cartoon snake. I don't say I told you so. I hand you a cap. You push it on. Silence returns. We both win. We set the latch. We test swing. Swing in, soft close works. Latch clicks at kid foiling height. We test again like we don't trust gravity. We sweep, we bag, we return the guest tag. We collapse against the new boards like grown people who deserve a nap. Pull out my phone and send the rap text. Side run complete to pins. Height 6 feet. Cap on rear only. Branches to trim tomorrow to vertical plane. Fire lane clear. Tools kept off sidewalk. Sprinkler capped, neighbor flagged heads. Dog secure during work. Cut ends sealed. Latch set at 54 inches. Both parties agree to send done photos and keep thread for records. You reply a photo and a thumbs up. I reply, agree. We shake hands like a cliche we earned. Before I head in, let's talk about the little stuff that turns into next week's argument if we don't say it out loud. No staining when the wind kicks up. You'll paint the car, and the HOA will sigh so loud it becomes weather. No attaching planters on my side. Attach on yours. Dirt and wood are a breakup story everyone knows. If the dog starts digging, we'll lay a paver strip along the bottom. He'll hate it. We'll love it. The Earth will accept it. If you want string lights, run them to your posts with downward shields and warm bulbs. No Las Vegas on a walkway. If the tree crew schedules for Thursday, text me. We'll move the cars. We'll keep the curb clear. We'll act like people who learned something on a Saturday. And if you ever think the line's wrong again, text first. We'll find the pins before we find opinions. You. Nod like a person who is tired enough to be reasonable. The dog sneezes like punctuation. Gather my clamps. You gather your pride. We look at a straight fence and both decide to remember we built this together, even if one of us did more math. If anyone in the comments wants to know whether lines matter, they do. If anyone wants to know whether lines are more important than lives, they aren't. That's why the fire lane story is part of this story. That's why the officer's card is in our text. That's why we didn't rip cap rails where they don't belong. I'm going inside to rinse dust out of my eyebrows and discover new muscles I've angered. If the dog barks at the finished fence tonight, tell him it's a good boy fence. He'll believe you. Dogs believe good news faster than people. We're good? We're good. Text me if you decide on staying this evening. I'll tell you whether Wynn says no in a voice you can hear. And if your uncle comes back with a 1998 story and a measuring tape, I'll bring muffins and remind him the pins are not in that story. Enjoy your yard. Enjoy your shade. Enjoy the part where Saturday afternoon sounds like neighbor kids playing and a radio inside a garage, not a saw guessing where the world ends. For everyone watching, should HOA rules require fences to be set exactly on pins even when old posts drifted, or allow follow the old line if both neighbors agree? And what's your best rule of thumb for trimming overhanging branches without turning a tree into a topiary tragedy? Drop your boundary piece hacks in the comments. Your trick might save someone a free Saturday and $1,000 survey.